Trump was finally asked about the vaccine passports and having to show your vaccine papers to eat at a restaurant, and his answer speaks for itself.
I want to get your take on needing proof to go into restaurants, needing proof of a vaccine to go into certain stores. Your thoughts on where we are with these new mask mandates coming back. And now the FDA has approved a coronavirus booster shot. The administration is getting set to recommend a third shot for the fully vaccinated. Sir, would you get a booster shot?
Let me tell you, I'm very proud of the vaccines. The vaccines weren't supposed to happen for 3 to 5 years. I brought the FDA in. Nobody has talked to the FDA like I did. They don't like me very much. We have a vaccine, and it's saving millions of lives throughout the world. I think we'd have a Spanish flu situation like in 1917. I really do. I believe that. And we're, maybe 100 million people, 50 million, 100 million people like that. So I'm very proud of the vaccine. I've taken the vaccine. I'm very, very proud of it. At the same time, some people don't want to take it. And, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden, and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back. Everybody wanted to get it, and we were giving out over 1 million shots a day. We had that thing rocking, and he's now president, and he's doing a lousy job with coronavirus. Coronavirus is back. If that ever happened to me where it came back, okay, when I left, it was virtually gone. It was over. It was a path. Now it's coming back through the Delta, and I don't know if you even want to call it that. All you call it is the China virus is back. And so why is he doing a good job? He did a bad job with SARS, the H1N1, very bad job, a joke of a job, a horrible job. All of a sudden they said, oh, he's doing so well. I'm the one that did well. I'm the one that got all the equipment. I'm the one that got the vaccine. I'm the one that did well. If it came back, can you imagine if I were president and it came back at a level where it's just as bad right now in some cases? The press would decimate me.
He not only shows zero interest or care or concern for the millions of nurses who work for him being forced vaccinated or the millions of workers who voted for him who are stuck in this scenario, he uses it as an opportunity to be a used car salesman for the product that he cares so much about, and even lies and says the reason that some people don't want the vaccine is because Joe Biden's president.
When I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden, and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back.
He doesn't say he sides with the protesters. He says if he was president, there would be no protesters. This is the freedom opposition leader in America, who is probably more popular than anybody on the planet, asked about the most important topic on the planet that's facing Australia, UK, America, New York City, Los Angeles, soon to go across all 50 states on a corporate level. And he doesn't give a shit. He literally doesn't care about you. He literally doesn't care about it at all. And I've been trying to tell people this for a year because I've been listening to him talk, and I can tell that he doesn't care about it. And he finally answered the question by not answering the question, selling his jab like a used car salesman, me, and not answering at all.
I'm the one that did well. I'm the one that got all the equipment. I'm the one that got the vaccine. I'm the one that did well.
He's so proud of rushing this to public. He's so proud of bringing the mass testing to public. He's so proud of bringing the ventilators to public. This is literally who he is. And I know people don't realize it because it's like this big fan base where everybody acts like he's the Oakland Raiders winning a sports game and oh my god, they're so cool, and they post pictures of how he's a Ninja Turtle sitting with Nikola Tesla and JFK Jr. in an underground water tunnel. So they don't actually pay attention to reality, and what he did and what he says is becoming a huge problem. The modern Republicans are just as bad as Bush Republicans. They just think that they're not now. With these NPC takes on Afghanistan, forget Afghanistan, you have to show papers in order to sit at a restaurant in New York City, the greatest city in our country. That's a bigger story. And nobody wants to question the president, so we wouldn't have even known how little he cares if Maria Bartiromo didn't ask the question that everyone else is afraid to ask the president. How is he going to be an effective leader for this movement if he can't even weigh in on the most important issue? He's not. He's not an effective leader. He led you to demise in 2020 with the lockdowns, Operation Warp Speed, lead the extension and smearing Sweden. He led you to failure at the Capitol event. He's not an effective leader. Seriously, you can make excuses for what I just played, but if you lined up the dumbest conservatives from any organization, literally 1,000, not of the best conservatives, of the worst conservatives, and you ask them that same question, what do you guys think about having to show your papers to sit in a New York City restaurant? Every single conservative would have answered that question better than Donald Trump. That was seriously either the dumbest, the fakest, or the most delusional answer I've ever heard.
I want to get your take on needing proof to go into restaurants, needing proof of a vaccine to go into certain stores.
You know, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back.
And the fact that this guy is not being critiqued or questioned at all by the conservative movement, he's being idolized as if he's some sort of savior of humanity, when in fact, he's literally the opposite, telling you he's the opposite and showing you so obviously he doesn't care at all.
And they want me to do public service messages and everything about everybody taking the vaccine. And look, I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
You're incentivizing him to not care. You're becoming the problem. And although after that, he did weigh in on booster shots and he said that he thinks Pfizer is doing it for money, which is awesome. That's the old Trump that we loved.
Back to the idea. I still come back to the idea of a booster shot. I mean, yes, you're right. The vaccines work. We've seen that.
That sounds, you know what? That sounds to me like a money-making operation for Pfizer. Okay? Think of the money involved.
Getting a booster
shot, that's tens of billions of dollars. How good a business is that?
I've been getting blasted by other Trump pages because I'm the only one who does the real research. I'm not in a cult. I'm not in a fan base. I'm not sitting on the sidelines and I'm like a fan of like the Denver Broncos. I actually do real news analysis. I don't just push out propaganda like all these other pages. So I started reporting on how Trump kind of became a big pharma swamper. He got $1 million for Pfizer for his inauguration. He put Alex Azar, a powerful pharmacy lobbyist, as the head of human health services in America, and everybody knew that they were going to bow to the pharmacy lobby when you put a pharmacy lobbyist at the head of that. I also showed Open Secrets, which is just an open platform that shows pharmacy donation money, and Donald Trump was #2 behind Joe Biden. And people want to act like I'm a shill and I'm a sellout. I'm not the one taking money from pharma. That's Donald Trump. That's the Republicans and that's the Democrats. We always knew the two parties were corrupt, but Donald Trump came and said, I'm fighting them, I'm fighting them. While he pretty much literally became them, and in some cases a worse version of them, and you guys don't even realize it's becoming a problem. Oh, I'm the one that's changing so much. No, Donald Trump went from a vaccine skeptic to a vaccine salesman and cheerleader. Like, that's not who he was in 2016. He took all this pharmacy money, started employing all these pharmacy lobbyists, started passing these executive orders for the flu vaccine, and all of a sudden, he went from a skeptic to the biggest salesman on the planet, and you guys incentivize him. I'm sorry, but you guys are no better than George Bush era Republicans. You're just as bad, and your boomer Afghanistan takes are proving that. And the original George Bush, as big of a liar as he was, he gave us Clarence Thomas, probably the best Supreme Court pick we'll ever have. Donald Trump had a position to save America, and he gave us Amy Coney Barrett, who sides with mandatory vaccinations for incoming students at Indiana University. And because I don't just push propaganda and act like a high school cheerleader like most accounts, I actually knew that and reported on it last year when I said Amy Coney Barrett supported the Orwellian lockdowns. Is President Trump about to set America up for failure? I saw this coming a mile away because she already ruled on that type of stuff. And Brett Kavanaugh, who you all loved and supported when he needed help, who sided with the CDC moratorium on rent on landlords, which is crushing landlords in this country, ushering in a new era of nobody owning anything in this country except for the major corporations who could take that type of blow. And I don't want to pat myself on the back, but the same idiots on Instagram who are like, Anomaly's a shill because I think JFK Jr. is coming back from the future to save the world. Trump's my hero. I have a doll. It's like, cool, I get it. You don't like to face reality. You don't do real reporting like me, so you hallucinate that Donald Trump's like a Power Ranger who's going to turn into a Transformer and save your whole world. That's cool. That's like what I did in kindergarten. I get it. You're like a 35-year-old woman doing that now. Cool. These are the same people calling me shills that called me a shill when I said this last March before the lockdown even started. I said they're going to use this to push medical tyranny, mandated vaccines, government mandated lockdowns, authoritarian power grabs, even bigger speech censorship, Life will never be the same, and Trump doesn't have a magic plan to save you till the end of time. I said this before 15 days to slow the spread, and you know who was hating on that? It wasn't the libtards like you'd expect. It was QAnon followers, Trump supporters, and people who obsess over this guy who were mad because I told them the truth that he doesn't have a plan to save you till the end of time. And it wasn't meant to be mean, it was meant to be an inspiration. You actually have to be a part of something. You have to peacefully and legally non-comply at a certain point. You can't just sit on the couch eating popcorn and hallucinating that JFK Jr. is going to save your life. Like, it's pathetic, it's embarrassing, and it's the same thing that the Bolsheviks did, the controlled opposition called Operation Trust, where they told a bunch of patriots that military generals were going to save them behind closed doors and to just sit there and do nothing, as they probably got led to gulags and their country got overtaken by communists. It's literally a copy and paste controlled opposition playbook that you morons are following, which is why you're consistently wrong and behind and slobbering over politicians like Donald Trump, who I voted for, by the way, who I supported, who I did real journalism and real analysis while the mainstream media was obliterating him. But then in 2020, he turned into a different person. And right now, when we need a leader who really stands up for freedom, who really stands up for liberty, and who really takes a hardline stance for us, he doesn't even answer the question about vaccine mandates. Instead, he goes on to brag about how he thinks he saved 100 million people from a Spanish flu type epidemic for rushing these jabs. He pushed the FDA. He's Mr. Big Pharma now. And he even seemed like he sided against protesters and said, if I was president, they wouldn't even be protesting. They don't want to get the jab because of Joe Biden. He's a liar.
You know, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back.
Or he's losing his mind like Joe Biden, or he's a complete fraud, or he betrayed us. I don't know. You got to figure it out in your head. But the least plausible option at this point is the one that you guys keep pushing with your propaganda pages, saying he's our hero who's going to save us. How's he going to save us when he was the president in 2020 and he didn't save us from the lockdowns? And I know you guys don't do real reporting, but in April, when Sweden decided to do no mask mandates and no lockdowns, President Trump was pushing communist propaganda saying lockdowns are good, lockdowns are good, lockdowns are good. Sweden's bad, Sweden's bad, Sweden's bad. And trust me.
What's wrong with having to close it down? We saved millions of lives. You know, a lot of people say we should have gone herd. Let's go herd. Ask him, how are they doing in Brazil? He's a great friend of mine. Not good. You heard about Sweden, right? Too much. Ask him how they doing in Sweden. We saved millions of lives.
Other conservative influencers were following him because people don't have an identity of their own. They don't have a brand of their own. They're turning into the NPC meme that they made to make fun of liberals. That's you guys now. You guys don't have a brain of your own. You'll fall for any trick, any trap, any speech law, any lockdown, any narrative. So nobody wants to hear you talk about Afghanistan for 20 minutes. Who cares what their murals look like? You have George Floyd murals, degenerate satanic murals. You're over-sexualizing children at these pride events, and you know it, yet you think you have some sort of democracy to spread to Afghanistan when you guys don't even believe in the democracy here of the 2020 election yourself. I mean, you are the hypocrites you're looking for. You're getting just as bad as liberals, just as bad as Bush-era Republicans. And I know this isn't what people want to hear, but it is what people actually have to hear, because it's not just the left and the rhinos that are tanking this country and leaving millions of people out to dry when they're looking for leadership and help. You guys have become the rhinos that you're looking for, and so has Trump. He's become worse. His Supreme Court justices suck. His picks for the intelligence community are literally using George Bush's Patriot Act, probably against you, calling you terrorists, and you still buy into the overseas narrative that George Bush used to waste trillions of dollars in Afghanistan, apparently resurrect the poppy fields and global heroin trade that the Taliban was actually getting rid of, and the wasted money that gutted our country. You guys slobber over Grandpa Moderna, the vaccine salesman, and Ronald Reagan, when it was Ronald Reagan who passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, which paved the way for companies like Pfizer and Moderna to have no liability for side effects or injuries from their product. That product that Donald Trump slobbers all over. These are your idols. No wonder this country's going to hell. It's not just the Taliban or the liberals, it's you.
And they want me to do public service messages and everything about everybody taking the vaccine. And look, I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
You are the rhinos. You are the Bush-era snakes. You guys are the propagandists. You don't want to do this reporting. Donald Trump, the leader of the Republican Party and really the leader of the free world, there's millions of people looking to Donald Trump for leadership all around the world because he was that guy for so long that we all loved. He got asked a question about vaccine passports and literally didn't answer, gave the opposite answer. He doesn't care about you. And the longer you guys take to face that, the more incentive politicians like him and people like him have to keep lying and betraying you because you love it. You buy it. He's the salesman and you're buying what he's selling. It's going to take more than a pillow salesman to save this country if the guy that the pillow salesman's running circles around literally doesn't even care about the biggest issue in this country.
100% Donald Trump is going to be your president the next 4 years.
But hang on a second.
Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
And the lockdowns didn't start in 2021. If you remember, they actually started in 2020 with a Republican president and a Republican Senate. So if you couldn't stop it then, what makes you think you're going to stop it if the pillow salesman is successful? You're not. It's like a carrot on a stick or a hamster on a wheel. And you guys don't even notice who you've become. So this probably isn't what people want to hear because it's better to just make fun of the left or you guys like my reporting on medical tyranny. But this is the message people need to hear. I don't expect anything out of Joe Biden. I would be surprised if he doesn't crap his pants on stage one day and get escorted out of office. But when my team and the people that agree with freedom, liberty, and the Constitution are turning into NPCs and propagandists who care more about money, power, fame, and popularity than they do real reporting, accuracy, and holding our side accountable, our side isn't going to be a side. We're going to end up like Canada, the UK, and Australia with both parties being piss poor. And it's already that way. They printed trillions of dollars in 2020 and the Republicans bragged about it. They still take our income tax every year. They already are that bad. But it's only going to get worse because you guys are clapping like seals and hallucinating these theories that they're magical wizards from the land of time to save you. I mean, it's time to wake up, folks. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you for listening and share this video with somebody that needs to hear it. And it's time for us to be the change we want to see in the country. We have to stop running around the world telling them how to act and posting pictures about other countries. If you're going to post a picture about a country, talk about Australia. What's happening there is literally insane. But our country is on our way to that. So let's focus on here for once. Liberals and Republicans, focus on yourselves, please. The time is now. God bless you. Have a good day.